I'm latching on. In times I will reveal. Penuel the Black Pen, a very happy Saturday to all of you in the beautiful country of Southern Africa. I'm reading from EWN, eyewitnessnews.co.za, ewn.co.za. This article was written by Alpha Ramushwana on the 12th of October 2024. That's literally a few minutes ago. The heading goes, ANC Youth League submits memorandum of demands to the JSE, Labour and Employment Department. The League is calling for an immediate solution to the unemployment crisis and an inclusive economy that offers opportunities to young people. Johannesburg. The African National Congress Youth League, the ANC Youth League, has submitted its memorandum of demands to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the JSE, and the Department of Labour and Employment. The League is calling for an immediate solution to the unemployment crisis and an inclusive economy that offers opportunities to young people. Its president, Colin Malaki, presented their list of demands outside the JSE headquarters, where they protested for economic reform on Friday. That was yesterday. Thousands joined the ANC Youth League's march from the inner city of Johannesburg to the JSE offices in Sandton. Singing struggle songs along the streets of Johannesburg, over 20,000 ANC Youth League supporters embarked on a 20-kilometer march from the inner city of Johannesburg to Sandton. Top of their minds is an inclusive economy that will allow them to participate in the country's economy. Tenyane le Gauta, an unemployed ANC Youth League supporter, said the JSE should lend a hand to economically inactive youth. In inverted commas, let the Johannesburg Stock Exchange companies invest more in the skills that young people have. We are really skilled. It's just that they have no interest in investing in us. So we are here to urge them to invest in us. The Department of Labour and Employment has committed to responding to the ANC Youth League's demands. Over 20,000 ANC Youth League supporters. Again, this is ewn.co.za. ANC Youth League submits a memorandum of demands to JSE, Labour and Employment Department. I'll drop a link to this article below. And there's a reference to the ANC Youth League President Colin Malachi, who had sat with DJ Sbo on the Hustlers Corner at some point. I saw pictures of the march. I think at the, I don't know if it's called the Queen Elizabeth or the Nelson Mandela Bridge in the Johannesburg CBD. That's where Abo AKA were filming Yeran Josie. And I think when I did Imali Amaponya, my music video, I also shot it there. And then walked 20 kilometers to Sandton. Beautiful. Celebrating the beauty of the youth and how they're standing up for their rights and they are demanding to be included in the economy. And it is important for the youth to have a voice and to be visible. So we applaud them. What a pile of fucking shit. What a pile of fucking shit. So number one, the ANC Youth League was destroyed after Ozuma Nabo Ramaphosa got rid of Julius Malema, Floyd Shibambu, and others at the time. The Youth League, I suffer, and it's never been the same since then. There was, I forget his name, there was a light-skinned guy, shout out to him because he's lost weight, like Julius, Oros, who came in as a Youth League president after that. I know Ronald Lamula at some point was campaigning for Ramaphosa and wanted to Zuma out at the time, himself and a gentleman called Bonolo. I think Bonolo is somewhere involved in the Black Business Council now. Ronald Lamula is now a minister under Cyril Ramaphosa's government, or under Cyril Ramaphosa's government with the ANC. At some point, even though he's of Swati origin, Mcebo Dlamini was, people wanted him to be the leader of the ANC Youth League. And now we've got Colin Malachi, who's the president now, who's trying to be vocal. There have been weird rumors about him being one of the guys that male politicians sleep with, but those rumors have not been proven to be true. And I think he should take offense to some of those things. But I'm just raising some of the things that are linked to his presidency. I know part of the ANC Youth League, I'm not sure if she's still part of the Youth League, and the leadership was Usisu Tutugile Zuma, the daughter of Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma and Jacob Zuma. She was meant to be the face of the Zuma family going into politics. Unfortunately, she was overtaken by Tutuzile Zuma, and before Tutuzile Zuma, Sambudla, it was Tutuzane Zuma, and they're all game changers. The ANC Youth League marching in a country that has been led for 30 years by the ANC about unemployment, lack of jobs, skills, being included in the economy, etc., is nothing short of, number one, ironic. It's indicative of the circus and the clownery that we see in politics in South Africa for the last 3 decades. You know, in the same breath, you'll hear Julius Malema and the EFF hitting at the ANC. Of course, they did much more when Zuma was at the helm, hitting at the ANC, of which they were a part of, that they were benefiting from at some point when they were part of the Youth League, and the connections they got to tenders and other deals and access to farms and the like. To lately, ex-President Jacob Zuma, who was a president under the ANC, who was a deputy president under the ANC, hitting back at the same ANC under Umkhonto weSizwe. And you're like, it must be some type of simulation that we're in, and some type of something that we missed somewhere. ANC leaders marching against ANC leaders talking shit about other ANC leaders. And ex-President Thabo Mbeki would call out a Jacob Zuma that would take a Cyril Ramaphosa to court, a Terra Likota who would leave the ANC, Benombazi Mashilowa, to set up COPE, a Trevor Manuel who, once he's rich and wealthy and is friends with rich and wealthy people locally and abroad, all of a sudden is no longer an ANC member. It is all a fucking joke. The ANC Youth League goes and it marches to the JSE, the Department of Labor, and sure, they are marching to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. What do they want the JSE to do? The JSE operates within a framework that is governed by political parties, the one that has been leading being the ANC. Today, the ANC has got under a majority, 40%. They got into partnership with the DA and other parties to create what we now know as the GNU, the Government of National Unity. The ANC set up black economic empowerment back in the day, that affirmative action, which has now been moved to employment equity to make sure that previously disadvantaged peoples, including white women, black men, coloreds, Indians, are brought into workspaces. They have set up funds from the National Empowerment Fund to even parts of the IDC's mandate to CIFA. You've got the Public Investment Corporation, the PIC, which looks after pension money of government employees, which is meant to be funding black businesses. And then you ask, who are these people marching against? Your president is a billionaire because of BEE. His brother-in-law, Patrice Motsepe, is a billionaire because of BEE. There are other brother-in-law in his family. Jeff Radebe, his wife, Bridget Motsepe Radebe, are wealthy because of BEE. Their ANC friends, Saki Matozoma, Mzi Kumar, I always mention these same names, or Dr. Anna Mokhokong, are wealthy because of BEE. They are tenderpreneurs. Today we speak about Edwin Sodi, but we've had tenderpreneurs for a long time. Before Abo Hamilton Ndlovu, there have been black people making lots of money. Never mind those William Kize with their sons, getting money with all digital vibes. People have been chowing tenders. Not only are people chowing tenders, people are getting deals from state-owned enterprises. Yes, you could call them tenders. They normally call procurement offers. They are multimillionaires. They are billionaires. Some of them sit there at the Black Business Council that are reaping the rewards of this black government. Colin Malachi and the ANC Youth League are not marching to Cyril Ramaphosa. They're not marching to Patrice Motsepe. They're not marching to the National Empowerment Fund. They're not marching to CIFA, to the IDC. They are conveniently marching to the JSE, which they want us to believe is this white institution. It is white because your black government for 30 years has refused to change the policies to make sure that the economy is transferred into the hands of black people. Worse than transferring the economy into the hands of the black majority, they have fundamentally failed to upskill the FET colleges, the other skills institutions. The ANC has destroyed them. They have lowered the pass rate to 30%. Our schools are nowhere. They've become useless pieces of shit where kids leave with a matric that they can't do anything with. The ANC Youth League is being convenient, and the fact that they managed to get 20,000 people to march is laughable. Unemployed youths, and you may find that a lot of them didn't even vote. You may find that some of them voted for MK or the EFF, marching there because they get free t-shirts, they might get food. And who knows, maybe yesterday after the marching, they went to some function and they were all drinking and sleeping with each other because they're not serious. There's a meme I saw when I was still running the Buy Black movement, and it said, instead of marching to the streets, why don't people march to the nearest business that is represented by their people? Why are those 20,000 ANC Youth League members not marching to black-owned spaza shops and saying, we will buy from you? Marching to go and save Drip, Yalikau Sehuana, which is gone into liquidation. Marching to go to Theo Balo and say, we will support Batu and make sure that we create jobs. We are here today on a YouTube, an American platform under Google. After this, we go on to Twitter, X, which is an American platform. From there, we go and we watch Netflix, which is an American platform. We're destroying our newspapers. We're destroying even DSTV MultiChoice is not doing well. And it's going to be getting sold to Canal Plus, which is a French company. We haven't really destroyed, but we've handed over Afgri, a South African company for grains and crops, for food security. We've sold that to Americans. Yes, it was built by the Afrikaners. It's owned by the Americans today. You've got Massmart, which was built by Jewish South Africans, run at some point by Mark Lamberti and the guys. Game, Jumbo, I think Rhino, Macro, and all these stores have now been sold to the American Walmart. We are constantly selling our business, refusing to buy local, flexing Gucci. Your celebrities, your musicians and your actors are buying Louis Vuitton because they've made it. We're flexing hard. And then we have youth that want to march in the streets because it's cute, because they believe that they're the multiplication of Winnie Mandela. They believe they are Peter Mukaba. They are the reimagining of Nelson Mandela. They're not. It's actually fucking pathetic. The reason I initially set up the Buy Black movement was because I was saying at the time, the number one thing black people need to do to fundamentally change their lives is aggressively buy from black businesses. You've got a rand. You must take your rand and you must be like, I don't care how difficult it is. I'm going to do something revolutionary today. I will be a comrade in a cadre and a chief, and I will take my 1 rand and I will aggressively buy from a black South African. I need to go get my hair done today. I will go and get my hair done from a black South African. I need to go and buy clothes. I will buy my clothes from a black South African person who has made these clothes in South Africa and didn't import them from China and then just rebrand and put printing on them. I will intentionally support South African media. I will go on to Ilanga, Isolezwe, the Citizen City. I will go to South African. I will watch Showmax. I will watch DSTV. I will not watch Netflix. I will watch our local shows. I will aggressively go and work for black businesses, even if they underpay me, even if there's months they don't pay, because this is a revolutionary act. I will not be convenient and be like, but chief, you know, South African black businesses, sometimes they don't pay us, they're not reliable, you know, black spaza shop, sometimes I want to see stock. The fight is then to make sure they get the stock. The fight is to make sure that the black business is paying you on time, is paying you a fair wage. Because if every single black South African decides to buy from a black retailer, ShopRite collapses, Woolies collapses, Pick n Pay, which is already seeing its bums, collapses. Because you have done a revolutionary act. The 20,000 ANC Youth League supporters are walking 20 kilometers because they've got nothing better to do. I can only imagine once they got to Sandton where they were spending their money thereafter. Black South Africans will take the 370 social relief for distress grant and they'll go to a Pakistani spaza shop, an Ethiopian spaza shop. Lapo, just this last week, if not the last 2 weeks, 5 kids died from eating from an undocumented or an illegal foreigner spaza shop. 5 died. People went to go and loot. Hey, the blacks. They went to go fucking loot. They destroyed the spaza shop, but they looted it. Looting means they took from there to go take home to eat some more. You guys poisoned and kill our kids. We're going to take the groceries and go eat them at home because we are geniuses. That's the black South African story. And these are some of the reasons why, you know, I had to leave this whole pro-black thing because black people hate themselves in this country. You've got a president, Cyril Ramaphosa, that hates black people. That's like my George Bush line, Kanye West. Cyril Ramaphosa hates black people. If you look at the people that were funding him, leading up to the end of apartheid, the Oppenheimers and the people that helped him set up NUM, the National Union of Mine Workers, and helped him also have the biggest protest march of the time for wages. You fast forward in Animal Farm, Cyril Ramaphosa sitting on the board of London Mining Lonmin in Marikana and having 40 miners gunned down, where he was told the police to take concomitant action. To this day, there's been no real justice. Your president hates black people. He has closed the taps for tenders for black people. He has washed black people out of state-owned enterprises where they were getting tenders. He's brought in his white friends to carry on the incumbents with Glencore running, milking and raping Eskom resources. Glencore now not only supplies coal, but also with Astron, which when they bought Caltex, they took over Astron, they supplied diesel to Eskom. He works with Putuma Nhleko, with Pembani, they work with Johan Rupert, there's a fund. He works with Johan Rupert and Shanduga, they're working on some fiber deals on the continent. This guy goes and laughs with about Joe Biden. He goes and takes money from the West, billions, for so-called renewables, where his brother-in-law, Patrice Motsepe, has got however many licenses in IPPs, and his good business associate, Johan Rupert, is there as well. That's Cyril Ramaphosa, the game farmer, who says that politics is his part-time job and everyone laughs. Cyril Ramaphosa was vindicated by the National Prosecuting Authority just yesterday, the NPA, saying there's no case here with Dipalapala. There's no case. In a country where it's illegal to have foreign currency that has been undeclared, where you have not paid the tax, and where the so-called buyer of the animals or the game, Mustafa or whatever his name is, he's never come to South Africa to account. Cyril Ramaphosa hates black people. The ANC leadership, Abo Fikile Mbalula, that rock up in a G-Wagon to hand out t-shirts, they hate black people. And the people that left out Julius Malema, that live in Hyde Park and wear fancy clothes, I want to show the black child it's possible. What's possible? In a country where you're poor, where you claim to represent the spirit of Thomas Sankara and Che Guevara. Thomas Sankara and Che Guevara would never wear Gucci. They would never live in a Hyde Park. They would never drive fancy cars while they see that their people are suffering, which makes you a fake revolutionary, a fake comrade. But it's convenient, and obviously black South Africans love this rhetoric because they vote. Yeah, maybe they didn't vote for the EFF, which stayed stagnant at 9%, but they carry on voting for the same losers so that they can get the child grant and free schooling, where their kids end up with matric and there are no jobs because they didn't get real skills. There are no colleges. They get NSFAS so their kids can go fuck each other in reses, smoke weed all day, watch podcasts and chill on free Wi-Fi, fail constantly, and come out there with degrees and be nobodies. 40% graduate unemployment. 40% of our graduates are unemployed because you're fucking wasting time. Some of them are chowing NSFAS money. Some of them trade their NSFAS money so that people can buy them booze. That's the youth of this country. That day when it's convenient, 20,000 go march and everyone must clap hands. Hey, Youth League, 20,000, we handed over the memorandum. I must see by memorandum. I know they won't do it. I have no faith anymore in the ANC Youth League. And to be honest, in 90 to almost 100% of all our politicians. The ANC is responsible for the fact that white people have gotten wealthier since 1994. Cyril Ramaphosa setting up the BE Commission, and what came from there was fronting, where white companies, the incumbents, made sure that they got the right black people, Cyril being one of them, to front for their companies, about Bidvest, about MTN, about Standard Bank, and all these. They got rich on their own, which, by the way, is actually crumbs, the money that they made in comparison. They were fronting political faces, and because you've now got these politicians on your board, you now have easy access to tenders. So when you see a Bidvest having the biggest tenders in government, when you see a Glencore getting the biggest tenders in state-owned enterprises, that's not by accident. White people have gotten wealthier since 1994. They've never been as rich, even during apartheid. If white people knew it, they would have fucking collapsed apartheid a long time ago. The money that's been made is ridiculous. 72% of white people in South Africa have medical aid, 72%, compared to 10% of black people. White people's unemployment rate in South Africa is 8%, compared to black people where it is 60% unemployment in this country. The average black wage for the black people that are lucky to have a job is 3,600 for black people. The average white wage, which by the way is not too great itself, is 12,000 Rand. That's almost 4 times the average black wage, which speaks of the high income inequality. We speak about the Gini coefficient. We speak about how South Africa is one of the most unequal places on earth. You look at Cape Town, you look at Gugulethu, Kwalanga, Enyanga. You look at Sandton, you look at Alex, you look at Fourways, you look at Deep Sloot. Anywhere you go, the poverty, the squatter camps. That's your ANC government. And not only have they done that, but they've destroyed our sovereignty. We have no borders. We have no borders. One Africa, Pan-Africanism, fuck all of that. No other African country is speaking open borders, but everyone wants South Africa to open their borders. The borders are colonial. They were decided at the Berlin Conference. They were brought in by the British colonizers. Facts. But the bottom line is we want to fix our affairs first before we help our neighbors. And right now, our neighbors are jumping the fence to come and eat in our fridge while our kids are going hungry. Our kids are in the street marching like clowns while undocumented, illegal foreigners, immigrants are here cutting our hair. Our hair's being cut by foreigners. We mustn't lie. Doing our hair. The ladies that are plaiting, they go brie. Those are undocumented or illegal foreigners. The people that are your nannies, those are Zimbabweans. The people that are building a back room or helping even build a house are foreigners, people from Lesotho, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, etc. The people that are waitresses or waiters in hospitality. It came out recently with Umihlali's, this lady Umihlali, not Mihlali Ndamase, the other Mihlali, the waitress. It came out that this is your ANC. But no, let's blame white monopoly capital and the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the means of production and the land. Made a long video on Convo about the land. Black people will leave fertile land to come live in a squatter camp in the city, but they claim they want land. Black people are not serious. I don't really take black people seriously in this country anymore because I see that it's all a joke. And those of us who claim to care are called names like sellouts. We call names like we're too educated, Standi English, Standa Mapunu, Lamapunu, Engwatandayo. Those Afrikaners you claim I'm a sellout too. After the Broederbond, which they used to infiltrate government through the National Party, and they used it to create subsidies or to give out subsidies to Afrikaner businesses, to set up funds for Afrikaners, to build businesses like banks like Volkskas, to build insurance companies like Sanlam, businesses like Sambo, Afgri, to pump into ShopRite, Pepco, etc. What they did for themselves. Today, with this black government for 30 years, those same Afrikaans people you claim I love have set up like an AfriForum, which raises about close to 50 million rand a month. And with Solidarity, a trade union, a tiny trade union when you compare it to Okosatu, or Satu, or NUMSA, or NUM, the money that those guys make is multiples more than Solidarity. But Solidarity with AfriForum have managed to build a skills institution, Soltech. None of your trade unions are building skills institutions, but they speak about jobs. They have managed to fight government when it comes to certain things. They are now building with academia, they are building Afrikaner schools. None of your trade unions, none of your stokvels, none of your funeral societies, none of them are building these things. And Afrikaners today are still investing in Afrikaner businesses. Jewish people today, with the Jewish Board of Deputies, with the nice schools they have, they are still funding Jewish kids to build businesses today. Muslims and Indians are doing that today. Their kids excel at school, they invest in maths and science, and then after they go and study medicine, pharmacy, being a lawyer, being an accountant, they set up their own firms, they support their families, they have wholesalers, they have cash and carries, they're involved in farming, they are running business and they're exploiting BEE because Indians fall under black, previously disadvantaged. But black people are doing no such. This weekend, I'm speaking to you guys while there are black people that are drunk, passed out right now. Balinde show 12. So they bazohamba bayobamba ingudu. Bayobamba idambi just ukuvusa ibhabhalazi sihlamahlama. And then they're going to go and get ishisa nyama noma inyama yenhloko enopelepele. Just khona nje ibhabhalazi intwana izoba grand. Khona azokwazi ukuvuka and then later hamba yophuza again. The idea of being in a spaza shop for 16 hours for that black youth is unheard of. They want to be MacG. They want to start a podcast like Black Pen. and make 50,000 a month. Antwana ya podcast, Antwana no Antwana, ngishaya dance challenge. Ngishaya dance challenge with TikTok. Yeah, that's what they want. They don't want to build real businesses. Remove the Pakistanis, remove the Somalians, the Ethiopians. Watch what our sponsor shops will look like. Watch. Take black kids, put them in a ex-model C, a white school. Put them there, transform the governing body to black people. Watch what happens to that school. Watch. There's a reason why Kuro is making so much money. There's a reason why Panyaza Lesufi at some point took government funds and gave it to a private Kuro under Stadio. Panyaza Lesufi, the MEC of Education at the time, is the Premier of Gauteng now, would give that money to Kuro, a private white Afrikaans institution, because they were saying, we don't have enough government schools to capacitate the demand. I won't be surprised if it happens again now in the new year. When people are like, we don't have space for our kids, they haven't been placed. All Panyas are going to come there acting all busy, and in the back end, they're going to be giving money to these private schools to be like, please take some of these white, uppity black kids because we don't have space for them. That's your ANC government. By the way, Panyas has been linked to some corruption. He's being investigated, and Abu AfriForum and the likes are taking him to court. These same Afrikaners that you hate, where is your black version of AfriForum that is fighting for you? Where is your non-profit organization that puts blacks first? Where is Andile Mnitama, who speaks about black first, land first? That every time I told him, Andile, set up a fund, I'll pledge 100 Rand per month. Take that money, go buy land for black people, go push the courts to make sure that land is redistributed to black people. Take that money and set up skills institutions to teach black people how to farm, to teach black people how to develop property. Take that money, those funds, and go and fight government to be like, you're not putting blacks first. Still Ramaphosa hates black people. Or Jacob Zuma pretending like they were not part of the ANC and all of a sudden they're revolutionary when they're in their 80s. But all this time it was fun and games when they were in the ANC, living a good life, looting money for Wonkandla. But Andile Mngxitama is now a member of parliament, as he was with the EFF. And myself, Mngxitama is probably going to fight with Zuma, and he's probably going to get kicked out at some point because that's just what he is. He wants to be a career politician, to make noise like a chihuahua and just garner noise. But he's not legit, and he's not sincere about what he claims to stand for. Black South Africans do not have leaders. They have clowns and puppets, podcasters. You guys have podcasters, and you have actors, and you have DJs, Bamapiano. You have Bantaba Dance, and you have soccer players. By the way, shout out to you, Bafana. Pakabula Kongo 5-0. Danke siyabonga Bafana. Danke siyabonga. Abo Ronald Williams and the boys. We've got soccer stars, Omkwen. I'm a superstar. We've got Siya Kolisi, who's now like an unofficial ambassador, diplomat for South Africa. He's all over the world. Special human being, sometimes they call it special. We've got Siya Kolisi and the Springboks who are beating everyone. We're having a good time. We've got no problems here. It's fun time. Siyapuza, festive yeza, waiting for the song that's going to be the biggest this year. Kampo Maporisa, or Kabza, or Central, or Daliwong are going to be doing the things or something so way to something Nanti. People are going to be getting drunk. People are going to be cashing out their stockfile money to buy their moms a fridge and a mirror finished fridge, so that your mom can say, woo, manaka, and you guys go pray and give the church 10,000 Rand in tithe. People are going to be getting debt to buy their first fancy car that is going to be strangling them for the next 5 years until the residual balloon payment. Then they realize, oh shit. It's like I wasn't even paying anything, my man. Residual balloon payment is fucking high, where? I'm tired of being angry about black people, but I had to tell the story because it's from yesterday. The ANC Youth League is not serious about uplifting black people, and I can tell you now that many of the leaders of the ANC Youth League, like Balusi Kikaba before them, like Fikile Mbalula before them, like Julius Malema before them, and all the rest, all they're trying to do is to be seen and to be brought into parliament. Upusiswa Mkhatshwa Nompendulo, who was one of the faces of Fees Must Fall. Where is she now? I believe she's a member of parliament, but where is she? Where is her fight for fees? University is still not free. OP, she's there with the ANC, enjoying a parliamentary salary today. Disappeared. Where's Fikile Mbalula, Secretary General? Gaslighting people, making noise. One moment, Upanyaza Lesufi is speaking against the GNU. Next moment, no, Upanyaza Lesufi described the GNU excellently on SMWX. Ufikile Mbalula. Ever since Gayton McKenzie became the face of South African politics, he's like the Siya Kolisi of politics, Gayton McKenzie. Cyril is nowhere to be seen. It's disappeared. We only see Gayton, and then we hear Helen Zillows complaining about something. Ukoko, Helen is there. We will leave the GNU if you don't change the Bella Bell. John Steenhuisen's been giving a nice ministry position. Now, Steenhuisen, asmazi because he's there at agriculture, but busy with what? So I'm addressing black people, but I'm speaking to all South Africans. This country will continue being eroded. And yes, if you have an opportunity, leave. If you have a high skill or skill in demand, go to Canada. Go to Dubai or the United Arab Emirates, Saudi. Those people are taking South Africans with skills. Go to Australia. If you're black, Australia might be a bit racist. If you're a white farmer in South Africa, Argentina loves. There's a lot of white South African farmers in Argentina. Go to America if you can. Even as black people, go to America. I just heard Umsaki spends a lot of time in Los Angeles. Or Black Coffee are there, or Tusombedo are there, Trevor Noah's there. It's a party. If you can go to Asia, if Mklampe or Popa in Asia, go do your things. Russia is very open to South Africa. If you're willing to learn the Russian language, they will literally, not only do they want skills in Russia, they'll take an unskilled black person. They will educate you for free in their universities to become a doctor, a nuclear scientist. Russia loves South Africa and especially black South Africans. Leave if you have that privilege. But after you leave, also don't complain because you left. You left. I left eMatateni in Newcastle. Now I'm like, oh, eMatateni, I suffer. Look, it's dilapidating. But Penwell, you're not investing in eMatateni. Do you send money there? Are you even investing in your father's old soccer team? No. Have you built something there? Have you invested in the school your mom taught at Ehlanati High, a section 4? I haven't. So it's not for me to complain. I must shut the fuck up. Unless if I'm willing to roll my sleeves up. Like I'm a Punase Orani. So those guys must leave. Please leave for the best of your family, of whatever it is. The people who are here want to fix this country. You have to be honest. White Afrikaans, white English, Jewish, Indian Muslim, Indian Hindu, Indian Christian, the coloreds, the blacks. We can't keep buying from foreign-owned businesses and expect that we're going to create jobs. It's retarded. Your mom and your dad are taking your family funds and they're taking the produce that you have in your family and they're giving it to the neighbors. And then when the kids are hungry, they're like, hey, what's going on here? And then Ramaphosa pretends to be shocked and then he calls a family meeting to have a committee on what's going on here. And then his favorite little boy here, Colin Malachi, uzovuta all your kids to toy in the family about what's going on and to point fingers at everyone else. But you guys are the ones literally, all these races I counted, all of you guys give your money to undocumented illegal foreigners. I'm including myself. I buy from spaza shops. I have my hair cut by a foreigner. I'm no different to you. I'm explaining the issue that we have. We keep voting for the same political parties who are not prioritizing the borders and immigration. Or Herman Mashaba now with Action SA are focused on Tshwane. Or Gayton McKenzie are having a great time being Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture. It's a party. Abahambe is nowhere to be seen now, except now and then on Twitter. It's gone. Andile Mngxitama disappeared. Julius Malema, especially after Floyd broke up with him and went to marry Jacob Zuma, he's looking like a shell of himself. Old Julius, old Juju. So sad, boy. Old Juju. These guys are not serious about South Africans. We are not serious about ourselves. We keep buying from these people. By these people, I'm saying illegal, undocumented foreigners. And I'm including buying from businesses that are based in the West, some based in Europe, some based in the East. We keep sending our kids to schools that are not serious about education and skills. because we're scared of homeschooling and we're scared of building alternative institutions. We keep bashing the people that actually want to call out exactly what's going on in this country. We call them names because the system tells us so. And then we numb our pain. We're looking for the next high on social media. After Nota was accused of rape, Umsaki relives the claims of her being a homewrecker. After that, 5 kids die at a spaza shop. After that, the ANC Youth League is marching. We're waiting for the next story. Oh, brother, Enigma is the next trend. And then there's memes and pictures. Ulikau and Drip are being liquidated. That becomes the latest story. We're just constantly chasing highs and rubbish. It is true that we need a dictator because it has been proven that South Africans left alone are like 5-year-olds. They have the brain cells and the work ethic and the self-awareness of a 5-year-old. They are pathetic. We are pathetic toddlers. That's what we are. You. Do you want an ice cream? Do you want a grant? Do you want a Streetwise 2 and a free t-shirt? I know they're trying to assassinate him now, and they're probably going to keep trying for as long as they can. Ibrahim Traore is a hero in West Africa. He's not the only one. There are many generals and leaders of military coups. Paul Kagame in Rwanda is one of the leaders that we look at. The type of leaders that we have in South Africa, but in small pockets. The leaders of the ZCC Church, of Isonto Lagashembe, and I want to take a moment to thank Usisu Don Tandega, who was on Podcast and Chill recently, who gave a beautiful rendition of the story of Isaiah Shembe and how he set up Isonto Lama Nazareta, the Shembe Church, and how he was trying to build a Garden of Eden where black Zulu people that followed Isaiah Shembe were self-sustaining, growing their own food, having their own land, etc. Pixlika Isaka Seme, one of the founders of the ANC, was trying to do the same with, I think the place is called Daggafontein, if I'm not mistaken. He was also trying to build his own little community there. You have to give a shout out to leaders like Joost Strydom, the leader before him, Mr. Karel Boshoff, whose father was one of the founders of Orania. These are leaders who are putting work in. Ernst Roots has been moved from AfriForum to Solidariteit. Ernst van Zyl is still the Kali Kriel, is still the leader of AfriForum. They are showing us what's possible. Rassie Erasmus as the director of South African Rugby and as the coach of the Springboks is showing us what's possible. Siya Kolisi is showing us what's possible. Gayton McKenzie, you may love or hate him with the Patriotic Alliance, is showing us what's possible. And so many other people, but it's in small pockets. We do not have leaders that put South Africans first. And your politicians are not those leaders. And sadly, some of the business leaders that are doing really well, they prefer South Africa being the way it is because that's how they make money. Because if you really uplift black people, there are many white businesses that will collapse. If you uplift black African people, there are many Indian businesses that will collapse. China City as a whole, Dragon City, China Mall, China Mart, etc., they will all collapse. Because black people will say, no, we will only buy from black South Africans. And we'll only buy from black Africans who have asked for permission legally to be here. Those are my brothers and sisters, they can be here. And we'll buy from white Europeans, white Americans, the Chinese and the Indians that are here, but that came in legally, and where we are taxing them the right way, where they are creating jobs for local people, where they are transferring skills to local people, and where they respect us. And they're not treating us like just a fucking market where you come to South Africa, set up a business, make millions, billions, but you can't even speak English. Tabangi English, a colonial language. Never mind this is Zulu, it's Xhosa, it's Swati, it's Ndebele, it's whatever. Never mind those. They're just here to milk and loot. And then we have to take an ANC Youth League seriously. And we have to take EFF zombies on Twitter seriously. We're lying to ourselves. If we're not going to get a dictator in this country, let's accept what this country is. Let's accept that this country is a free-for-all. Let's accept that this whole country is Ipri, Inward, MTN, that we're just a taxi rank. It's a thoroughfare here. We are OR Tambo, but not even with immigration. Anyone can come here and do what they want, whether it's drug dealers that come here from parts of Europe, whether it's people coming to traffic human beings to set up brothels and run prostitution rings, to sell drugs. Come do what you want here. And then let's set ourselves up into smaller pockets. And abantu be-ZCC, nabakashembe, and the Christian faith, and the Nederlandse Gereformeerde Kerk, and whoever it is, the Jews, they can all have their little pockets, and then they'll set up a little Stain City, Waterfall City, a little Oranje to be like, no, our people are here. This is where we actually are a country. This is where we have leadership. We have real borders. We have real security. It's clean. It's safe. Our kids have real skills in this little complex. But the rest of the country, fuck the rest of the country. Because the politicians don't care about it. About Cyril about lining their pockets with their friends. The people that fund them are only here to mine and milk this country. They're here to come take our agricultural produce. They're here to exploit not even local labor anymore. Because when you're begging for a job, you're begging to be exploited. They come to South Africa, set up businesses, and then hire foreigners from the rest of the African continent. Because now they no longer import slaves from India. They no longer import slaves from Malaysia. They now import slaves or so-called slaves in Malawi, from Malawi, Mozambique, Zambia, and the like, from the DRC, because South Africans are too expensive with their labor laws, and all they'll do is toy, and they don't have a work ethic and they don't have skills. I'm not disappointed by the story I'm telling you about. It's just a reminder of why some of us are like, fuck it. I'm going to try and focus on the people that share my values and visions. We're going to keep trying to build where we can, and we'll keep trying to help the people where we can. I've said controversially in the past that I would rather work with an illegal, undocumented foreigner in this country where I know that they care about the community, where I've seen illegal, undocumented foreigners donating to soccer teams, where I've seen them donate to the local church, where I've seen Abdul or Mohammed going to funerals of some of their customers and bringing groceries because they're their customers. I've seen it firsthand. I'd rather work with those people than work with black South Africans, where you work with them, they take their money, they drink it, they take their money, they send it overseas, they take their money. Once they're a bit privileged, all of a sudden they think they're better than the next person, and they block the gate for other black South Africans and other South Africans in general. They take their money and they go to London and they splurge on Louis Vuitton and Gucci, and we must all clap hands, and then at the same time come back and complain about unemployment. It's a fucking joke. Have a great and blessed Saturday. See you guys soon. Penuel, the Swart pen, the black pen, pene ensu, le stilo noir, pene limnyama.